Oh, we're back with an interview on Good Old Nat here. Your host Nat and your interviewee, Good Old Nat. Yes, we're the same person. Okay, so I wanted to go over my story of sexual experiences. I was in a position with the first person that ever touched me in a romantic, intimate way where I felt frozen inside my body and I couldn't say no. And really, it was like being, kissed on the neck and touched, like on my breasts and like cuddled and stuff. But to me, it felt like an invasion, of course. I mean, it would to anyone. I'm just letting you know it's not like to the extent of like being molested, though it did feel like it. So I went through, wanting love, but then any attention I could get from guys, at that point in my life was everything to me. And so that's why it was a very conflicting experience to go through. And when I was a child, I had these two girlfriends who were between the ages of 7 and 9, and they took me behind the trash can out in public, like out in our front yard, and they pulled down my pants and they showed me, where my snatch was, and I was like, whoa. And then there was a neighborhood boy that kind of did similar things. So I feel like through those experiences, it was pretty obvious that I had a natural attraction to women first, but I was told that that was wrong in the church that I was going to. So I developed an attraction to men that wasn't as strong, but now it's actually stronger than it is with women for me. So I identify with being straight now because the last person I was with was everything that I love about men and women in a masculine body. So, and it could change, but that's just where I'm at now. So, as I grew up, and I had this experience where I was, after this interaction with the girls that taught me where my snatch was, I had to stare at a picture of Jesus for a long time. And after this happened, didn't I didn't even think of touching myself down there. I decided that was like bad. And then so I hadn't touched myself from the ages of 7 to 18. And that was when I had a meltdown. I just completely snapped and I was like, well, if I'm not perfect enough, then I guess I'll show you what it's like to be not perfect, right? To everyone in my life that was trying to impose this box on me. And so I ended up having interactions with women and, expressing that, and then having interactions with men. And I had a lot of different male partners, and I was more like trying to please them. I was also like a player of the players because I developed this totally like sexist mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna put notches under my belt too, and I'm gonna make sure I get the hottest ones. Like, I wanted to play the guys' game back on them, and I did. I was so freaking cool about that. Okay. And now that I've had that experience, I understand that it really does feed the ego, and I understand why guys do that. And I wasn't able to climax from my inside until just this year when I was single, and I took a sex ed class on solo sex, and that what I learned was that I was putting guilt on myself for learning about myself and learning how I work and loving myself. So I decided to touch myself inside, and I immediately learned how that part of me worked. And it was such a spiritual, loving experience. I encourage everyone that is learning to do that to not feel guilty about it. And size doesn't matter, because I was like using this finger and, also, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? And that's when I learned like size doesn't matter, because that was something I wanted to express that really, made that a golden moment for me to release all of that love for myself. And it was a very powerful experience. So just let yourself go through whatever expressions you need to go through. They change all the time.